Well, YouTube, this is going to be a little bit different video than my usual videos here. For 2025, my goal has been do less. And I was going to make a video on this, I don't know, probably a few weeks ago, on how I am trying to do less. I know most people are trying, do more and have these goals and this excitement. And I unfortunately hit a wall. So I thought I'd share this with you guys because I want to relate with those of you that are going through something similar, have gone through something similar, or just going to watch this and then think about this, as you're looking back, like, hey, I watched this video a year ago, 5 years ago, something, and I remember Dimitri talking a little bit about this. So I've been under a lot of stress lately. I have a ton of things going on. So for those of you that don't really follow me, I have two YouTube channels. So I have this channel. I have another channel called Bianco Land. That is on gardening, car repair, I don't know, anything under the sun that could be related to just daily life of fixing and doing things like a DIYer. I have a whole channel on that as well. So I run two YouTube channels. Work full-time. I'm the head of quantitative risk and research at Agora Data. And then I do a bunch of other just side things as well. I have family, I have kids, I have two kids. I just have a lot of stuff going on. And if you guys look downstairs in the shop here, I've got a 1966 Ford Fairlane all pulled apart. And I've got a lot of other things in life going on, which I'm just not going to bring into this video here. And so a few weeks ago here, I get up in the morning on a Monday. It was Monday. No, it was a Friday, I think. Anyways, and a lot of stress going on. I get a call on the phone. I'm getting some jabbers and messages on my phone. Something's blowing up at work. Someone calls or having issues. They're complaining. And then my left arm starts going numb. So it starts kind of at the top. It's going down. And then within probably 20, 30 minutes, my arm is numb, basically from the shoulder down. So I'm like, not really a great sign, but we're just push through. We got to get some stuff done here. And so the day's kind of unfolding. It's still chaotic. And now I'm starting to get kind of pain up in my chest area, but it's not feeling like internal pain. It's more like external muscle pain. And then my neck's cramping up and I'm getting pain in my back. And again, it's mainly on the left side. So I'm starting to worry a little bit. I message my wife. I'm like, hey, can you come home from work? My wife's in the office for the day. I'm having numbness. I'm having a lot of stress today. I don't know what's going on. Just prefer if you could be at home to kind of handle some things if I need to, have some sort of emergency here. And so now I'm starting to think in my head, like, I hope I'm not having a heart attack or a stroke or something, because these are signs, that you always read, like, oh, left arm pain is related to that. I hate the doctors. I don't go to the doctors. I don't need the doctors. And so I'm not going to the doctors at this point. Throughout the day, my arm gets better. Middle of the day, arm's feeling a little bit better. Still a little tingly, but nothing crazy. And then towards the evening, we're winding down. Things are getting kind of wrapped up from work, from home, from everything. And my left arm's going numb again. So I start taking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure is a little bit high, but not crazy. And so I'm like, I'll take a bath, go on a walk, get the kids all put down to bed for the night. And then my entire left arm is numb again. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I check my blood pressure again. My blood pressure is rising. So I wait, and I'm like, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at this point. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go to like the doctors, the hospital, or anything. Like, let's just see if I can just wait this out. I'm sure it's no big deal. So I ended up going for that walk, sitting down, relaxing, trying to watch some TV, which I hardly ever do, and just trying to like relax. But now I'm starting to freak out a bit because now my blood pressure is rising. And now, of course, I'm reading on the internet, when you hit a specific range, which is like 180 over, I don't know, whatever, you need to go to the hospital at this point. So I'm checking my blood pressure again. It's still rising. My arm is numb. My chest pain kind of in the shoulder upper portion here is starting to get worse as well. So at 10:30, I decide I'm going to go to the ER. So I go to the ER, whole shenanigans, whole frustration dealing with that as well. X-ray, EKG, blood test, and an MRI. I think that's kind of the rundown. just to check to see, like, is this a heart attack? These are signs of a heart attack. They check my blood pressure. They're like, yeah, you're a little high, but it's not too bad. It looks like it's coming down. Often when you take it at home and you're panicking, it's going to keep going up. They made me sit in the bed at the ER for a while before even taking my blood pressure to even get a reading. I went through the whole process, and luckily I don't have any heart issues. So they did some enzyme testing of my blood for, I guess, heart enzymes, EKGs, everything else came back. They did some scans looking for any sort of like stroke or like blood vessels that burst or anything like that. Doctor comes back and says, well, you're under a lot of stress. We're going to write you a prescription and you're going to take an anxiety medicine. I'm like, no, I'm not taking an anxiety medicine. But luckily the premise of this came out to be, it's just a lot of stress coming down to it. These are just symptoms they think are playing out. They don't really know. You probably should go see a cardiologist. You probably should go see a general doctor. We don't really know, but luckily you don't have a heart attack. If you symptoms continue though for a while, go see a cardiologist. You're gonna have something like that. So what's happening is essentially my body's starting to give out. I can only do so much in so much time. And I have a lot of responsibilities that I need to complete and finish. And they're not just like fun, frilly projects. I have a lot of people that depend on me for different things. So unfortunately, my health has been starting to take a turn. In the last, 6 months as well, my health has had some other issues, just minor health things that have been getting worse. And so I'm at this point of like, my goal for the year was to take a step back. And so I'm kind of stuck, right? I don't know what to cut, how to fix this, what to do. And I thought I'd review kind of my thought process for this. And the first feeling I had, oddly enough, was somewhat like shame or like embarrassment. Like, I'm embarrassed that I can't keep going. And it's hard to explain it to people too, because they think like, oh, you had an incident, like it was an event. It's not an event. This is probably years worth of stress compounding. And then recently I've had, even more things going on that are compiling as well. It's not an event. It's not an individual. It's not a person. It's not a day. This is what happens when you have longer portions of stress here. And oddly enough, I feel embarrassed because I feel like I should easily be able to do this, right? You can easily just push through, right? This is kind of the mantra you see a lot in quant finance and in finance in general. You should just be able to push through it. So as I reviewed it and thought about it more and more, I realized a lot of it's just I'm not taking great care of myself. My priorities are kind of shuffled around a little bit. And so as much as I want to own things, so if anyone knows me, I have to own everything. It's just who I am. I don't do anything, have like 10% or 5% or like, yeah, whatever. Like everything I do has to be done 100%, right? If not, just don't do it. It's just not worth it. So I'm going to start looking at and kind of assessing my life here on what needs to go. I'm looking at the office now thinking like there's a lot of stuff I'm involved in. It's a startup. More or less, it's a smaller firm, not really startup phase anymore, but it's a smaller firm. What can I just step away from? Like, I just don't need to be involved in. And I'm going to start letting people kind of fail on their own, step back. It's not my issue. Good luck. Go figure it out. So that's going to be on the work side of that. On the home side, again, trying to take things differently. My wife made me go get a massage last week. I'm not a fan of people touching me. I think it's weird. I think it's awkward, but I did it. It helps a little bit with reduction of stress as I'm reading. Of course, I got to look up some papers and figure out, what are the actual benefits. So trying to take care of myself better on that front as well. And then trying just to reduce and compartmentalize a lot of things here. So I've been working a lot after hours, weekends, projects. Hell, I'm going to work this weekend probably again because, people can't get stuff done when they're supposed to get it done. And so you got to kind of drop things and try to make things happen, which is fine. But, trying to get the pieces put together, trying to simplify things here, trying to do less, I think I'm going to put in air quotes, the easy thing, but it's not really easy to do. I think prioritizing is going to have to change a bit though. So that's kind of it, guys. I just wanted to kind of share that with you. What is kind of going on with me here? I know many of you have been messaging me probably the last month or two here, and I've been really slow to respond there's just been a lot of stuff going on, kind of with these sorts of issues, health things, and other stuff. But anyways, if you're facing these sorts of things, I'm going to give you guys some tips here. Again, try to reduce your schedule, as I mentioned. One thing that hit me was kind of like being an athlete, right? You think about, like, I remember seeing a stat like LeBron James spends, I don't know, like 1.2 million on like recoveries, like massage, other sorts of medical things, and like, IVs and doing all these things to improve performance. It kind of dawned on me with a quant, like, we're high performance. We have a lot of stress in the job. It makes sense to spend money on things that you might not want to spend money on, that are good ways to take care of yourself, so the massage being one of those sorts of things, maybe doing some yoga, some meditation. When you have kids, these things are not like you just sit down and can do it. It's like you got chaos going on, and then you've got work and you got a million other things, right? This isn't like you're, in your 20s relaxing, like, oh, I'm stressed out, I got an exam. This is like you have 10 things going on at the same time. But try to make time for yourself on that, right? No one's really going to take care of you like you can take care of you, right? Everyone around you. So everyone around me right now, the company I'm at, my family, everyone's like, Dimitri, slow down, health first, make sure you got things lined out. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But I said I would get these things done. It's a lot of it's going to be coming back to you. Like, you need to start slowing things down, prioritize, and start saying no. So that's going to be the third piece here. Start saying no to a lot of things. I was invited recently to do a couple more projects in the quant finance space here. One was like a workshop, and I'm like, this would be so cool. I'd love to be involved in this. Unfortunately, like, I just mentally and physically now do not have the bandwidth to do that. So those are the tips. Take care of yourself. Don't be ashamed of it, guys. This is actually more common than many of you probably think or guess, especially if you're younger. Like, you're thinking like, oh, I can do this. I can do this. I could do this when I was in my 20s. Now I'm in my 30s, which doesn't sound that old, but things are really starting to change. I had friends in their 20s that were having significant health issues from some high stress jobs as well. They ended up just completely quitting and leaving and doing something else. I'm not planning on doing any of that, at least not now. But again, this is something that's oddly enough probably more common than I had thought, as I had mentioned it to a few other friends of mine. Like, yeah, I had some health issues too, and they're like going through it with me. And I wish more people would just share the story of they had the health issues. I think a lot of us are just embarrassed because we feel like we should be able to do above and beyond, what we're doing. But taking care of yourself, prioritizing, and realizing this is probably more common than most think in the quant finance space here. And I'm going to put a little caveat on this for those that, you're going to have those people like, oh, I could do this and I'm whatever, and they think they're big and bad. Let me tell you, those people probably just don't care that much. One of the things I have is I have to do things 100% right. My name is on that. I don't care about anybody else. It's my name that is on these projects, these responsibilities, these issues. And so having that mentality, having that ownership, right? Everyone pats you on the back and, good for you. But sometimes you just need to say no, take on less, delegate more, and try to kind of step back, because a lot of people that are saying like, oh, this is no big deal, it's because they haven't been in these sorts of situations. So anyways, those are my tips and tricks. I'm hoping you guys can relate a little bit with this. If you have had this in the past, if you have this in the future, hoping this will help you as well. If you've had a similar experience, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to these videos and this channel. And as always, until next time.